AP Physics, we're on to Lesson 3 of the summer assignment, and this is on instantaneous velocity. So what is initial and final velocity and instantaneous velocity as well? Instantaneous velocity is the velocity you're going at a particular instant. The abbreviation for instantaneous velocity is VI, although you'll see it vary somewhat in the textbook and in some of the problems we'll do this year. So example, the speed of the on the speedometer of a car shows the speed that the car is going at that exact moment. It's not showing the average speed, that's the speed over the entire trip, or the speed 5 seconds ago or 5 seconds in the future. It's showing how fast the car is going at exactly the moment you look at the speedometer, and that's instantaneous velocity. So we will deal with two special types of instantaneous velocities. Initial velocity, that's the velocity at the start of your physics problem. And then a final velocity, that's the velocity at the end of the physics problem. So initial velocity is the instantaneous velocity when you first start your measurement. This is also called beginning or starting velocity. We will abbreviate initial velocity as V subscript 0, which is read the velocity when the time is 0 seconds. So the small 0 is called a subscript. So initial velocity does not have to be 0. If Stick Girl is running at 5 meters per second when we start our stopwatch, her initial velocity is 5 meters per second. Final velocity is the instantaneous velocity when you stop your measurement. We abbreviate final velocity as V sub F. If Stick Girl is running at 10 meters per second when we stop our stopwatch, her final velocity is 10 meters per second. So here's a new equation for average velocity. It's the initial velocity plus the final velocity divided by 2. The same way you would normally take an average of two numbers. You add them together and divide by 2. So if you add the initial velocity and final velocity, then divide by 2, that will give you a different formula for average velocity. Remember, we already had distance divided by time as a formula for average velocity. And that takes care of this lesson on instantaneous velocity.